At the tail end of World War I, specifically from the German side, they did not come back to celebration and cheer, but despair. But they also came back to something else. The Spanish influenza, the most dangerous pandemic in the last 100 years that took over 800,000 lives in merely a year, being, subsumed only by the corona pandemic. A certain medical officer was going through the tents in the German hospital, and he came upon a single cot with a soldier whose face was covered. And he said a line that shook the medic to the core. "I am tired of fighting wars. I have already lost." For the settlers coming to America, it was a nigh paradise at first. A new opportunity, free from the English and the Catholic rule. A new life, free from any sign of servitude. What could you ask for better? And it was envisioned to be this way. Nothing could stand in their way. Nothing that mattered, of course. However, there are certain tribes of people that were there for thousands of years that saw this in a different light. They were not people looking for a new life, but they were oppressors. The Native American people, they looked upon the whites with disdain. They hoped that they would stay to their 13 colonies, but that would never be the case, as westward expansion demanded more. 3 chiefs had different ways of dealing with the Americans in different aspects of their lives. One of these is Chief Blackhawk. Born in Illinois and on the west side of the Mississippi, he believed that the Americans were not to be trifled with, and that one should have a neutral stance for the most part. However, during a prisoner exchange for an Indian prisoner on the American side, this happened. About the time we were ready to start, our brother was let out of the prison. He started and ran a short distance when he was shot dead. Out of the 50,000 words in Chief Blackhawk's autobiography, those 2 are the only ones that are completely capitalized. "They say enough," he said in his own words. This was the cause and preparation for his biggest war yet, the Black Hawk War of 1832. With his anger and grief, he went across the Illinois and modern-day Wisconsin, striking any fort along his way in any village, ending at the Battle of Bad Axe, and later dying in Iowa a few years later. His autobiography of grief and anger is the only thing that was left of him. There were other chiefs, though, that had a different way of seeing things, one of them being Chief Pedalasharo. He believed that a man should not be fought, but should be negotiated with. He was born in Mississippi, also near the river, and he made an 1,000-mile walk to the White House to meet with President Monroe. And for the most part, he didn't want much. He merely wanted normalcy. "Spare me then, my father. Let me enjoy my country and pursue the buffalo." He just wanted his way of life. He didn't want to be modernized. He just wanted to be a Native American. This would not be the case, as America in the 19th century would genocide the buffalo and leave a few scant thousand remaining. The picture, as they hear, shows just how many were killed for the pursuit of wealth, and wealth only. Pedalasharo bargained. Blackhawk was furious, and here we have Chief Joseph, who was indifferent to it for the most of his life. He was born around the time of Pedalasharo and Blackhawk. However, in Idaho, he didn't believe that the Americans would ever come to him. However, they did, as westward expansion crept ever closer and started the Black Bear Paw Battle, where the Cheyenne tribe went up against the American settlers. After a 3-day battle, and blood on both sides, Chief Joseph decided to make the call of surrender and made a famous speech that could only be read in a minute, but probably took him an agonizing amount of time to say. I want to have time to look for my children and see how many of them I can find. Maybe I shall find them among the dead. He and his tribe fled even further as they passed Idaho, praying that the Americans would never come, but knowing they would. I chose the word Sisyphean for the struggle of the Indians as they pushed the rock higher up the hill, hoping that the Americans would not push it back down. But they did. And there was almost nothing left of the classic Native Americans. But that doesn't mean they're gone. There's just under 600 Native American reservations in the United States today. And every single one of these still have people from the previous tribes. They still follow their way of life, and they still believe that there can be a better future for them, even with the horrendous past that was left behind.